There are countless things I love about the first three Spyro games, one of which is the uniqueness and creativity of the Homeworlds. They've always been able to convey a theme so well visually and capture this aura of, well, home. So I thought it'd be a fun idea to rank each of these Homeworlds from my least favorite to my favorite. I'm not going to be including the levels from these Homeworlds as part of the equation, just the Homeworlds themselves. And we'll be using the Reignited Trilogy versions of these worlds since they're just so visually stunning. And with that, let's go! Starting things off at number 13 is Nasty's World from Spyro 1. It's the last world of the game, and there's really not much to see here. It's just a circular platform in the middle of a body of water with a few dragon heads blocking some of the levels. It does have a cool, ominous finality tone to it, which would work even better if Nasty Nork wasn't the wimpiest last boss fight since Cortex and Crash 2. All in all, this one is an obvious last place to me. At number 12, we have Midday Gardens from Spyro 3, and first off, I love the music that accompanies this world. It's got this funky yet chill vibe to it that just really conveys the tone of going on a nice walk in the park, and definitely not getting eaten by a giant monstrous rabbit. It's one of the more relaxing homeworlds in the trilogy, and it ultimately falls this low on the list, mostly due to the rest of the competition. Next up at number 11 is Winter Tundra, the final world in Ripto's Rage. I always love winter themes in video games, and Winter Tundra does a really great job of having this feel of a still, cold night. The main point of focus is this giant castle that Ripto cowers away to, surrounded by a giant courtyard with patches of snow all around. I've also always enjoyed the secret cove that leads to the orb on top of the waterfall. Again, like Midday Gardens, nothing wrong with this one, but there are some really great homeworlds left in this trilogy to talk about. It pains me so much to put this one at number 10, but the more I thought about it, the more I just had to put the other 9 above it, and at this spot we have Sunrise Spring from Year of the Dragon. But man, does this one just make you feel like you're about to go down the rabbit hole and start an epic adventure. Sunrise Spring just has this vibrant, serene feel that just motivates me to do something productive. Hunter is also here to give us his typical tutorial-esque spiel, and in both instances, by the cove and by the pond, he reminds us how he can't help us because he doesn't want to get his fur wet. Huh, you know, something just isn't adding up here. At number 9, we have Peacekeepers from the first Spyro game, and it's essentially a rocky desert camp filled with cannons, tents, tar pits, and butts. No, I mean literal butts. The Norks here will run away to their tents, and then when you find them, they'll moon you. And I'm so glad they kept this in the Reignited Trilogy because it adds this level of slapstick humor that I've always appreciated. Next, at number 8 is Summer Forest from Spyro 2. Alongside Midday Gardens, this is the most relaxing feeling homeworld in the trilogy to me. The atmospheric music just brings this sense of elegance and calm that has just made me wander aimlessly around this world too many times to count. I love the aesthetic of the majestic marble pillars throughout this world as they really complete that atmospheric feel I just mentioned. This is also the world we are introduced to the swimming underwater mechanic in Spyro games after paying a ridiculous 500 gems to Moneybags. I mean, really? 500 gems to learn how to swim? Sheesh. Now we have number 7, which for me is the Dreamweavers world from Spyro 1, and I know this one might be a little low on the list. For one, what you need to get to the Dreamweavers world has always been pretty intimidating. You need to have freed 50 dragons to get here, and up to this point in the game there are only 58 dragons to be freed, so you need to have found almost all of the dragons in order to get to the Dreamweavers world. And it's a cool reward of a world, don't get me wrong. I guess I was just expecting something a little more intimidating than this. Beyond that though, the whole castle in the sky thing has always been a feature I found really cool, and the idea of the dragons of this realm weaving dreams together is such an interesting concept. For number 6, we have Evening Lake from Spyro 3, and I just love the aesthetic of this one. The medieval castle towers, half sunken in a lake, is just such a cool concept. You'll be gliding, climbing, and swimming all over this world to find all the secrets. Whether it's behind a fractured wall underwater or hidden away in the corner of a lone tower, there are some interesting egg locations in this one. Also, in order to get one of the eggs, you have to get swallowed by a whale to find it. I mean, luckily he burps us out, but still, let's try to make a point moving forward of not getting eaten. At number 5, we have Magic Crafters from Spyro the Dragon, and first thing is I've always loved how you could see the other end of the area from where you start. It just made me so excited and curious as to what lies between these two ends. And what does lie between them are plenty of elaborate hallways and snow-patched plains filled with druids who control the movement of the environments around them. I mean, look at this guy. He thinks he's so cool blocking me off. Well, good job, guy. You made me have to go around. Congratulations. Oh, and this guy who thinks he's blocking me off from entering this area, well, let me introduce you to my good friend, the Supercharge. And speaking of Supercharge, holding your Supercharge through part of this world has always been a fun aspect to me and a great introduction to the Supercharge mechanic. From the bopping, bubbly soundtrack to the aesthetic of giant icy peaks and the frosty feeling color scheme, this one has long been one of my favorites. Now there are some layers here for number 4, which is Midnight Mountain from Spyro Year of the Dragon. For one, that funky soundtrack is one of the highlights of the entire trilogy for me personally. And conceptually, the idea of this world being built on top of the peaks of a mountain with bridges connecting them all together is really cool. Just watch out for all the poisonous ooze all over the place. But there's one big reason why Midnight Mountain made it all the way up to this point of the list, and that's Moneybags. After you defeat the sorceress, you'll run into Moneybags, and he'll tell you how he's going to go back to Avalar and sell one of the dragon eggs, and this gives Spyro the right in his conscience to finally do what we've wanted to do for the last 2 games, and delivers quite possibly the most satisfying moment in the entire trilogy. Number 3 is the Artisans Homeworld from Spyro 1, and this one is all about nostalgia for me. Obviously, being the first world in the game, it's the one I played the most, but I spent so much time in this homeworld when I was younger. Part of that was just how mind-blowing this gaming experience was for me at the time, and part of that was I wasn't all that good at video games just yet. Either way, the rolling plains of the Artisans world has long just felt so much like home to me. The hedge maze that hides away Dark Hollow, the dragon's head that leads to Toasty's realm, the secret platforms by the pond that open up Sunny Flight were all just so cool to me. And I swear, I think I can quote every line from the Dragons You're Free here. Hey, I wonder what's behind that door. Oh, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Right. Next at number 2 is the last homeworld representing the first Spyro game, and that's the Beastmaker's world. It's long been one of my favorites, but this is the one world that the Reignited Trilogy helped really skyrocket up this list. The amount of detail that was added to the outer parts of this world are so cool and really add that layer that makes it feel like you're really in the middle of a swamp. I also like the idea of how the North tier have harnessed electricity combined with the Aztec feel of some of the architecture in this homeworld. All these different themes just blend together so well to create a really unique and special feel that really hit me in a way that makes Beastmakers the runner-up on this list. And that leaves Autumn Plains from Spyro Ripto's Rage for the number 1 spot on this list. It certainly helps that fall is my favorite time of year, and seeing all the leaves that have changed color and are falling to the ground really captures that feel to me. Not to mention, climbing up the walls and exploring an epic abandoned castle is also a really cool element to this homeworld. Just like Summer Forest and Winter Tundra, the music here is so atmospheric. It just feels so majestic yet so light and breezy at the same time. And of course, getting up to the top of the castle and hearing the breeze while looking around has always been such an awesome feeling. You also get to perform the biggest glide in Spyro history, which has long been one of my favorite moments from the trilogy. Anyways, that's just my list. Comment down below and let me know what your rankings are for these homeworlds. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more. I'll see you guys in the next one.